Hello. So I don't normally go live this early. It's like 8:15 here in the UK, or almost. But I literally just had to come on and share this live. I was tempted to record it as a podcast. Then I was like, if I go live on Facebook, then I can always repurpose it. So can I share on my story? I don't think so. I don't know how you do that. Anyway, and then I was like, do I go for a walk? And then I was like, no, I feel like it needs to be like sat still, grounded. So this is going to be a really deep transmission. So let's just take a moment to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4, just to ground ourselves into this present moment, into the now, because that's what this live stream is going to be all about. It's all about the now. So we inhale together, hold, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Feel the tears coming. Inhale. Exhale. Feel called to put my hands on my heart. You might as well. I just want you to close your eyes and imagine your feet firmly planting in the earth, roots growing out of your feet, your chakras aligning in the most perfect, effortless, divine way. Chakras opening, sacral tingling. We'll start with root grounded, sacral tingling, solar plexus expansive and open, heart opening and filling with love, throat tingling with what you wish to share today, third eye opening to receive all the wisdom, and crown tingling to connect to the heavens, higher realms. Okay. 3 people are here. Just open my eyes. There are 3 people, which is Christ consciousness number. Of course. Welcome. Please comment below. Okay, I need to drink some water. I feel really lightheaded right now. Okay. So, those of you that know, and you may want to watch my live from the other day. What day was it? Wednesday. Those of you that have been following my journey, you know that I've been on quite the journey, to say the least. I've been shifting so much recently, so much ancestral stuff, a lot to do with money, but of course, and by the way, if you're watching the live or the replay, come and say hello, because I want to see your beautiful name and face. Of course, it's not actually to do with money. Money is just the surface level part. It goes so much deeper than that. And when I started to dig deeper, I tuned into addiction to suffering, addiction to roller coaster ride. Maybe you can relate. Open my eyes and there's 3 again. Comment below if you can relate to any of this. And yesterday I realized that I was making money mean that I'm mean. That having a lot of money makes you a mean person. Because of past lives, parallel lives, whatever you want to call it. There's no such thing as past, all we have is now. So really they are parallel lives. And because of also then this showing up in my present life, and I started to journal how it was showing up, which was very interesting. Very, very interesting. So it's interesting, isn't it? When one thing comes up to clear and you clear that, feel so emotional. Okay. So many other, then it's like a domino effect, right? Then another thing comes up, then another thing comes up, and then another thing comes up. And that is literally what's been happening for me. And I've been in the void for a long time. And I've been so forced to surrender, which has been, deep breath, really, really difficult at times. Comment below if you can relate. Really freaking difficult. And I remember, I knew this was going to be an emotional one. I remember my amazing mentor, Michaela, saying to me a few months ago, because I started my awakening journey in January when my stepdad passed over the rainbow bridge, and I was so connected to him in the physical. He showed me what unconditional love truly is, and now I'm even more deeply connected to him on a spiritual level, which is so beautiful. And as you know, if you've experienced grief, it really, really puts things into perspective and forced me to take a step back, look at everything. And that's what I've been doing since January. And in May, it was my 27th birthday, and on the 26th of May, and on the 27th of May, I decided to begin my awakening journey. And I woke up, things just felt different. I don't know if anyone has watched, read or listened to Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, but he talks about when you wake up from, well, to be honest, I've had many rebirths. I've had about 10 rebirths in the past 6 months, at least. But when you wake up from a rebirth and you're like, everything is amazing, you wake up with that childlike awe of everything. And I woke up, and on the 27th of May, I was like, oh my God, everything's amazing. Obviously, that was my awakening journey just beginning. So there was a huge rubber band phase, as Michaela calls it, which is when your ego is trying to drag you back. Because, of course, your ego is there to protect you. You know, it's not a bad thing. That's what it's conditioned for. But like I say, I've had many, many rebirths since, many activations, many ancestral clearings, many parallel life clearings, so much release, so many shifts. I won't go into them. Maybe someday. The other day I realised I'm going to write a book called Living Life Without Fear. So that, I guess I'll be sharing my experiences in there. So really what happened is, I'm burping because when I channel, I burp. Is that as I say, I've been having so many realizations, shifts, transmissions, activations, and connected with my spirit guides, my spirit team, with my galactic family, my starseed family, with my soul family, and it's been so divine. And of course, it's important to remember that they are not separate from us. We are them and they are us. But what came through so strongly last night, and I feel like it's to do with yesterday, an incredible 3 days, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, with Isabel mirroring, also working with Daniela Arango, also all of this other stuff coming through again from my time with Michaela, incredible Andrea Grund as well, and having incredible conversations with Kimberly Atkinson and hi Amy and Kristen Stewart yesterday. And I'm going to tag all these amazing people below so that you can check them out. And what I realised last night as I was falling asleep, this is really big, and it's going to sound so simple, but it's not simple. It's not simple. It's really quite profound. And if you can allow this to sink in really deeply, it's going to change your freaking life. And that is that all we have is now. I realized how much we are blocking ourselves when all we have is now. We spend our lives living in the present, but the present is just a projection of the past. Because as much as our ego creates fear to protect us, obviously fear is an illusion of the future, and the future doesn't exist. So that means that we're not in the present, and our ego is created from the past. So our ego projects from the past that makes us fear the future, which keeps us out of the now. Which is where mindfulness comes in, meditations come in, activations, yoga comes in, activations come in as well. And Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now. Because when we are connected to the now, anything and everything is possible. The now is the I am field of potentiality. I'm going to say this, and I want you to close your eyes, and I really want you to ground into this moment and really feel this. The now is the I am field of potentiality. So what does that mean? That means there is nothing to fix. There is nothing to do. There's nothing to even be, apart from be in the present moment. We make it so much harder for ourselves than it needs to be, because we are programmed by fear, because of the matrix that we live in, because of our conditioning, because of the development of our ego, because of thousands of years of living in this matrix. But in case you didn't know, Mother Earth is awakening. It is rising, it is ascending from 3D consciousness, and it is ascending to 5D and beyond, the new Earth as people call it. Oh, Sarah, I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here. Oh, wow. Oh, I feel really deeply right now. Take a deep breath. I feel so lightheaded right now. I'm remembering to ground and drink lots of water. And this is what it feels like, by the way. Oh, of course you are. Of course you are. Of course you're here. Sarah, I encourage you to close your eyes and just allow yourself to feel. I can feel the tears coming for us. Such happy tears, by the way. Not sad. The now is all we have, and we make it. I know. I feel it, Sarah. I really feel it. Sarah said, I'm so connected to you, my love. For people listening on the podcast. The now is all we have. Unconditional love, exactly. That is all we are. That is all we are. And when you feel tingly and lightheaded and sweaty and activated, and you feel up here, but at the same time you feel grounded down here, you feel your heart expanding, you feel all of your chakras expanding and all of your chakras aligning like a beautiful peacock feather coming together. Yes, Sarah said these moments are what I live for. Yes. Something, anyone watching the replay or listening on the podcast, or if you're listening on the podcast, today is 26th today. Oh, the 26th is my birthday date. It's the 25th though, if you're Pacific time. Just about. It's almost midnight. It's like 11:30 at night Pacific time on the 25th, but it's 8:30 in the morning British time on the 26th. So something, of course, has been happening for a long time, but things really got taken up a notch yesterday. Culminating yesterday, but over these past few days, over these past few weeks, things, if you're connected to the now, you'll feel it. And spirituality was never, well, the world was never meant to be a hierarchy. And spirituality has become some kind of hierarchy that, you know, you can only be connected if you're taking plant medicine, or you have crystals, or you live in a certain place. That's all conditions. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. And it's ego. It's ego spirituality. True, pure form spirituality is the now. As long as you're connected to the now, you are connected. You're connected to Mother Earth. You're connected to your soul. You're connected to the higher realms. You're connected to the aliens, your galactic family, your soul family, your heart, all of you, all of it. I said on my live stream on Wednesday, which is also repurposed as a podcast episode, that everything is stacked in the now. All realms are stacked in the now. All timelines are stacked in the now. Which means all dimensions are stacked in the now, which means that that's how we get to travel, by the way. That's how you get to travel between dimensions, and you get to jump timelines in the now. You can't jump timelines or travel from the past, from the future, because that's an illusion. It doesn't exist. Sarah said it's been bursting open the past 24 hours for me. Absolute knowing. Let's just all take a moment to breathe into that. Ground into that. Ground our root while simultaneously opening our crown. And by the way, this beautiful cocoon I've created on this live stream, whether you be alive on the replay or watching my podcast, listening to my podcast, or watching me on YouTube actually, because I'm going to upload this to YouTube. This beautiful love cocoon that's been created, I was going to say that I have created, but we are all as one. So that we have created is so potent, so powerful, because it is the now. Everything is to be found in the now. So I don't even want to say challenge you, because it's not a challenge to your soul. It's what your soul only knows, but it'll be a challenge to your ego. I want to challenge you. 833. 3 are Christ consciousness numbers. I want to challenge you to be in the now. And anytime your ego tries to get you out of the now, by the way, signs that you're not in the now, is that you are projecting the past, or you're fearing the future because you're projecting the past. And the only way you fear the future is because you're in the past. So, exactly like Sarah just said, belief is not required any longer, and that is so wild. We get to shift so quickly. I was having a conversation with my previous mentor, Michaela Adelsberger. Follow her on Instagram, She Wolf Impact. She's got an amazing podcast, She Wolf Impact, on Spotify and Apple. And we were talking the other day, and she's been posting about this on social media as well and talking about this on her podcast, is that thoughts and beliefs are a product of the matrix. Oh, 3 people are here. Love the number 3. That is it. They're a product of 4 people are a product of the matrix. I feel like it's because the energy is rising. We're going into higher realms now while staying grounded. That's why the number's like, boop, 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 it's going up. Hello, you beautiful 4 people. Comment below who is here. I would love to see your names and faces. When we are in the now, Sarah, you are so right. Beliefs and thoughts cannot exist. Why? Because beliefs and thoughts are the product of the ego, and the ego can't exist in the now. Hi, Liz. So lovely to have you here. So, Sarah, you have, just by being in the now, because I know that that's what you've been practicing, otherwise you wouldn't be saying the things that you're saying, and I wouldn't be feeling the energy that I'm feeling. We wouldn't be feeling it. 5 people, yay! I know that you've been in the now, because beliefs and thoughts can't exist in the now. The now is the now is the now is the now. Anyone just joining the live now? No. The now is the I am field of potentiality. The past or the future is an illusion created by ego that is bullshit. That is blocking you, that is limiting you, that is, like, I swear, if I could bring everyone with me, hi Asma, if I could bring everyone with me to the now, I could literally, let's say it like this. My wish is for everyone to experience the now. That is my wish, for everyone to experience the now. Because then you would realize that it's all bullshit. Your thoughts, your beliefs. Check out Kimberly Atkinson, by the way. She's done an Ascension Codes training. It's like $99. I've bought it. I haven't looked into it, but her content is amazing. Because it speaks the truth, not a relative truth, the ultimate truth. That we have been fed a bunch of lies. And she even did this post that was like, back to our usual programming. You know how like things said, I don't think so much now, but like back in the day, it would say that on like the TV or on the news or whatever. Yes, it's to keep us safe, but at what cost? At the cost of our freedom. I feel like I'm doing like a Martin Luther King speech. I have a dream. Then one day we will all be free. And we will, but only if we get the fuck out of our ego. And yes, the ego is partly useful. It is. And I was saying the other day, it's not about working against the ego, it's about working with the ego. You need the ego to, but actually, I was about to say, you need the ego to tell you that you're hungry. Oh, this is a great analogy. no wonder I was having this conversation the other day with my partner, because I recently started fasting. Well, I stopped eating breakfast, and I've also stopped eating lunch, because I like to give my body a challenge. And the more connected you are, no, this is deep because I'm burping. The more, hi Clara, the more you are connected to source and the higher realms, it starts to feed you, because you start to receive that life force energy so that you don't need food. And I know that sounds pretty like crazy and out there, but it's true. So I've only just started, so I've just started eating just dinner. Yeah, exactly. Release that burping energy and the yawns and all of that good yummy stuff. So I've recently stopped eating, I've stopped eating breakfast and lunch. And I was speaking to my partner about this because he hasn't been eating breakfast and lunch for months already, for months. And we were talking about how our nervous system works and how our body works. And we were saying that, isn't it interesting how, 7 people, spiritual number, comment below who is here. This is like, so 8 people, abundance number. The roof is lifting. The roof is off. 9 people. What the hell is... Oh, Natasha's here. Hi, Natasha. Yeah, Sarah said, I haven't needed coffee this week, which is actually a miracle. Exactly. Because of the life force energy. You don't need food. You don't need caffeine. Anyway, going back to the conversation that I had with my partner, we were saying that our nervous system and our body, God bless it, and our ego overcompensates so much because it's trying to keep us safe, right? It's survival. Its input is survival. So like, let's talk about input. So like the soul, the input of the soul is abundance, because the soul is like, I'm part of the universe. Like, I get to have it all. It doesn't have the mind consciousness of the conditioning and the ego and the limitations and the thoughts and the beliefs. And then I love that 8 people are here. This is so abundant and divine. It's so cool. So freaking cool. I'm like buzzing over here. And my spirit team are just like dancing, like, woo, woo. Just imagining like maracas, like, let's have a party. 9 people. And our ego, our body, our human, its input is survival. Now, it's so important to be aware of this at all freaking times. And when you're in the now, that awareness is just there already. It's not something you need to practice. It's just there. So what happens with like eating, for instance, or, tiredness, or wanting to go for, I've recently been cutting down on sugar and caffeine as well. So when our body wants to go for like sugar, caffeine, food, fats, anything like that, it is overcompensating. Why do you think, okay, and this is no judgment of people that eat breakfast, lunch and dinner, like no judgment at all, but it's just interesting, something to ponder over. It's like, we can go 4 weeks without eating, I believe. I may have got that statistic. I may have got that wrong, but I think it's about 4 weeks. Oh my God, 10 people here. This is crazy. Let me just take a picture of this. There you go. 11 people. Okay, I've got to take another one. I haven't done that in ages. 11. So now I keep getting distracted by the number of people, because I'm like, what the fuck is happening? We are all awakening right now. This is... If you feel the buzzing, just stay grounded. Just remember to breathe. Remember to drink lots of water. This is so divinely guided. This is so beautiful that we are all here together. I freaking love it. So our body overcompensates. And even though we can go like 30 days without eating, why is it that, like, say you have breakfast at 6, by 12, 6 hours later, your body is like, I'm hungry, and if we don't eat, we're going to die. And then this is where you get to like train your body and work, like I was saying with your ego, like work with your body, work with your ego, work with your human, because like I was saying in my live on Wednesday, and you guys might want to watch that who missed it. I know Natasha was there. When we suppress our emotions, we suppress our ego, we suppress our human, we end up creating this really unsteady foundation. And I believe this is a big reason why a lot of people seek spirituality. I definitely did. I seek spirituality because I was like, I just want to be up in the heavens, up in the ethers, with no problems. Like Bob Marley, like, no worry about a thing. Like, I was like, I want to be up there. I don't want to be down here with all the worries and all the doubts and all the fear. Now, that is avoidance, and that creates, you are still human. Like, please remember, you're still human, and that creates a really rocky foundation. And it is so freaking important. By the way, who are the 9 people that are here? Like, don't be shy. Comment along. Please, let me know that you're here. Okay, Sarah said the escapist embodied. Yeah, Natasha said the physical body is what's being cleansed and collected right now. So many of our mastermind women spoke about how they've been intuitively guided to cleanse and cut stuff, been on this journey. Oh, that's so interesting, Natasha. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, because oh my God. And I love that, Sarah. Embodiment has been the missing piece to my existence. And it's like becoming a mum again has been an initiation for you, right? I can imagine. I'm feeling. We all have a different initiation. For me, it was my stepdad passing away in January. Everyone has a different initiation, which is so beautiful. That's so cool, isn't it? So like we will get to sit in second and be like, oh, what was your initiation? It gets to be fun and playful as well. It doesn't need to be some dense, heavy thing all the time. So that's very interesting. Yay, Clara! Oh my God, you must be up so early. So lovely to see you here. So much love. 7. It's a beautiful spiritual number on here right now. So that's so interesting what you've shared about the physical detoxing, because we are still human. We must remember that we are still human. And I've been feeling called to cut out sugar, cut down on caffeine, because that's a harder one for me, I will admit, and cut down on food. And isn't it interesting with something like exercise? So many like personal trainers, they're already sort of playing in this realm a little bit, because they're like, you can do it. You know, your mind and sometimes your body think that you can't, but you can. Like, you've got more. And that's almost what it feels like. Like the awakening journey feels like an exercise class. Don't know where this is coming from, but hi, Linda. It almost feels like an exercise class, because it's like you break through a layer, then you break through another layer, then you break through another layer. And then you're like, oh my God, there's more and there's more and there's more. And it's like you get to the edge. I literally came through in a meditation the other day about the edge, because it is like you're on the precipice, you're on the edge, and you're like, I feel like there is something that is happening, but and your ego gets in the way, and it's like, this is too scary, please step back. And you're like, okay. And that has happened to me so many times. It's like I'm right on the precipice of the next level, the deeper layer. Because by the way, people think ascension is up, up, up. It's not. It's ascension works like, hi Elsa. The deeper you go, the higher you go. So ascension is like a trampoline. It's like, literally, imagine a trampoline, right? When you were like a kid, did you ever like go on a trampoline? One of those trampolines that like literally like the mesh bit like went to the floor, and then you went like so high. That's literally what it is. Oh, Sarah said, please comment along, by the way. This is so much fun. Thank you, Sarah and Natasha, for engaging, because this is so much fun. And Cleora and whoever else. Been detoxing so much physically. Shit, literally when doing so much energy work on myself. Oh my God, you know what, actually? I was on a group call the other day, and with my mentor, Daniela Arango, one of my many mentors. And she was saying, a girl on there was saying like about energetic weeing and energetic pooping, because we were talking about clearing your energy. Because I was saying, like, I've been having a lot of alien encounters over these past few days. And like sometimes it's been really freaking scary. And I'm like, the other night there was like, I think it was the night before last, there was like my bedroom was filled with aliens. And I was like, please can you leave? Please can you leave? I'm really scared. And there was like 3 of them that were like, you are safe. We've got you. And I was like, okay. I was like, please can the rest go then? And remember, like you are, if you're channeling, if you're receiving spirits, aliens, guides, all of these things, remember, you are in control of your energy field. You get to pick people out whenever you want. You get to cleanse your field, clear your field. I remember Daniela, my mentor Daniela, said to me yesterday, she was like, just imagine, I actually did this last night, just imagine bright white light blasting your energetic field and they'll all be gone. But then you've got to have conviction and sovereignty and assertion of like, oh, I don't know who that was that just did a like. I didn't recognize your face. I'm so sorry. Please comment who you are. It's really important, by the way. I don't know why I'm going into this now, but let's just go with the flow because clearly the divine is guiding me here. It's really important at the moment to cleanse your energy field because the aliens aren't coming. The aliens are already here. The aliens are already here. Christ isn't coming. Christ's already here. It is all already here. Your spirit team, angels, aliens, Jesus Christ, the ascended masters, they are all here. And it's all stacked in the now. And you are the master operator. So you get to, literally, you're in control. You're like the CEO, COO, whatever you want to call it. So if you don't like something in your energetic field, don't worry. You get to just take it out. If you don't like a certain alien and you're like, no. Or if like, I don't know, say you're working with clients and clients, passed on relative comes through and you're like, no, we did this earlier. You're not encroaching my personal space. Like discernment is so important. Discernment and sovereignty, because I take it that everyone here is spiritual. Otherwise, well, everyone's spiritual, but conscious about their spirituality. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. And 7, spiritual number, 7 of you are here. Please comment if you haven't with your name and who you are, because I'd love to see, because I can't see who the 7 are. And so if you're spiritually in tuned, if you're like attuned, and especially if you're in the present moment, if you're in the now, which I'm not going to lie, we're sort of being forced to be in the now, to be honest, because Mother Earth is like, I'm ready to ascend. And we can't take all this shit with us. We can't take all of these stories and entanglements and attachments and all of that stuff with us. Which is why, like Sarah and Natasha are talking about, we're being called to cleanse our bodies from all of the toxins. We're being called to, there's not much I can listen to or watch these days of mainstream media because of the cleansing. Chlorophyll, beautiful antioxidant. Lots of water, very cleansing. We are being called to cleanse. And what's really interesting, like Sarah and I were talking about at the start of this live, and you may want to watch the replay, is we were talking about how thoughts and beliefs can't exist in the now. So if you stay in the now, you're in the now, that's it. And all the dimensions are stacked in the now. Everything is in the now. And by the way, your spirit team, the ascended masters, Jesus Christ, God, none of that is separate from you. And if you're burping a lot, that's a channeling or yawning, releasing energy, shifting energy, all of that stuff. Just in case you didn't know, which I'm sure most of you do. We are all as one. So it's really important not to get into that separation context, because that is a construct of the matrix. There is no such thing as separation. We are all as one. And it's when we unite as one, instead of, you know, all of the hatred and conflict and all of that stuff that's creating the separation, that's causing this earth to, you know, stay as it is. That's how we ascend. It's not about leaving anyone. I remember I read something or listened to something and somebody was like, it's not about leaving people behind. It's not like, bye, I'm going, see ya. No, it's like we rise together. We rise, and okay, I don't mean to sound really like morbid and scary, but like we rise together or we crumble together. We're not leaving anyone behind. We're not leaving anyone behind, okay? So this is where it really upsets me when I see like hierarchy anywhere, but especially in like spirituality, of like, you know, hierarchy of like how connected you are, or how amazing you are at channeling, or the crystals you have, or the modalities that you have, or the tools you have. Like, it upsets me so much, because it's like, what? Like, no, hierarchy is a construct of the matrix that's destroying and damaging it's damaged us, frankly. When we are all as one, we are all connected. We are all connected to God. We are all God's source of the universe. We are all the ascended master. The ascended masters are us. We are them, our guides, aliens, the Arcturians, I still don't know how you pronounce it, Pleiadians? Oh, last night, by the way, on Instagram, I follow somebody called High Priestess 111. I think maybe it starts with an underscore. You'll be able to find her. She, just before I was going to sleep, I was on Instagram, and she did a post about the Arcturians, and she's done an amazing free guided meditation. So, yeah, like go and check her out. And I haven't done the meditation yet, but like I read the post, and it was basically like, don't be afraid of us. We are here to help. And that's another thing, by the way, if like energies and spirits are coming into your field that you don't like, that you're uncomfortable with, there are a few things you can do. You can remove them, you can blast them, you can literally imagine yourself picking them out, or I've heard of something called tuning forks. I've never used them, but a couple of girls women in a mastermind that I'm in mentioned it the other day. And you can blast white light. I mean, gosh, there are probably even more things you can do. You can bring in, I always bring in, like the other night when I was really scared, I brought in Jesus Christ, because to me, he is the most ascended. To you, you might have somebody else. There's no right or wrong. But to me, he's the most ascended. And at least for now, it might change. And so then all of my other spirit guides and spirit team then came after that with him to protect me. But yeah, sometimes at the start you want to protect yourself because you're like, I'm so scared. And I've just seen somebody say, speak to them. I haven't seen the full thing. I've just seen the preview, speak to them. And yeah, but once you start to, everything is practice. I realized yesterday, everything is practice. And it's like the more they come, the more you'll get used to them, and you'll become more like confident, comfortable, not confident. You'll become more comfortable with their presence. And then you get to interact with them, because it's okay if they come to you and you don't want to speak to them right away. You just sort of want to like observe from afar and be like, suss it out. What is going on here? And then maybe the next day or a couple of days later, a couple of weeks later, you then decide to interact with them. That's okay too. Like, I don't want to preach about any certain way of doing this, because I feel like it is a personal thing. So yes, the detoxing, and like I was talking about, I just want to go back to the conversation of the now, because the whole reason why I started this live, and now I've started talking about aliens and managing your energetic field and interacting with other life forms and spirit guides and spirit team. So I just want to go back for a second to the initial point of this live, which was that those of you that have been following my journey, you will know. Those of you that haven't, check out my post. I did a live on Wednesday speaking more in detail about my journey since my stepdad passed away in January, and I've been having so many realizations. He's like, I'm here, my stepdad. I'm like, I know, you're always here. Oh, he was such a joker. And oh, look, I've just looked up and I'm like, here's this thing. This is my beautiful stepdad. Anyway, so I've been having a lot of realizations over this past, and I feel the energy shifting, and just take a minute to ground and take a deep breath, all of us together, because the energy is like high right now. So I've been having so many realizations, so many shifts, so much ancestral clearing, my ancestors really been working so much with my ancestors, with my parallel lives. It's been incredible. So releasing, and I've been feeling so much lighter on an energetic spiritual level, which is also why I've been feeling called to, like Natasha and Sarah were saying, detox a lot of things and really completely change my diet and fast and all of those things, because mind, body, soul, so what I realized last night when I was falling asleep is like, I was thinking about a call that I was on the other day, one of my mentor Daniela Arango's calls for her program called The Shift. Oh, and by the way, if you want to join her program, The Shift, it's I can't remember how much it is, but it was amazing. It's 1-on-1 or 2-2-2, and it was so good. So I have a link that you can use. So I will put that below, because I love sharing about my mentors. Isabel Meering is amazing. Michaela Adelsberger, I worked with back in May for 8 weeks. She's incredible. We've recently reconnected. She's got a podcast called She Wolf Impact. Definitely check that out. Andrea Grund is amazing. Kimberly Atkinson has a $99 program called Ascension Codes, which I can also send you the link for. Who else? Kristen Stewart is amazing as well. There are so many people that I could share. Anyway, so I've been having like a domino effect of realizations and detachments and releasing of stories, and feels like an emptying, like a clearing, like a purging. And the purging symptoms have been real. The sickness, the headaches. To say that, I feel like a headache. The lightheadedness, the tingles, and that's the other thing. The lightheadedness can sometimes make you feel like, because of the survival instinct, that like, oh, I must be hungry. But drink water to ground yourself. You can add some chlorophyll, wonderful antioxidant, and then you realize, actually, like, I quite enjoy the lightheaded. Before, now I'd be really scared of it. Like, what is happening? I'm gonna faint, because I used to faint a lot when I was younger. And now I'm like, oh, I love the lightheadedness, because I feel like so connected to myself and to the all, to the now, to the oneness, to everything. Because oneness is all, and oneness is what's found in the now. And so what I realized last night, and I'm really like building up the suspense here, I'm like, it's what I realized last night. So I'll get that eventually. What I realized last night from thinking about like the week and the months, the realizations that I've been having, and the, conversations with my ancestors, my parallel lives, and my spirit guides, and the aliens, and all of the, and my mentors, all the conversations I've been having, all of the experiences I've been having, I was thinking like, thinking about the conversations I've been having, and I was thinking, isn't it interesting how quickly we get out of the now. It's like we're in the now and we are 8, abundant number, and we feel incredible, and we're like, I love the sound. That's something I've really been like tapping into as well, because is, to me, is oneness. It's like the circle. It's the circuit of like giving, receiving, giving, receiving, giving, receiving. So I love sound healing as well. And then our ego is like, wait, let me just come in here. I was about to say ruin the fun, but let's not bash the ego, because it is here to protect us. It definitely has a purpose, and it does its job incredibly well. We cannot deny that. Then the ego's like, hold on a sec. You're all kumbaya happy over there. But what about this? But what about that? But what about the other? And then before you know it, boop, you're out of the now, and you're back in the past. And whilst you're in the past, you're then fearing the future. The future that doesn't even exist. The future that is an illusion. And then you go, and then you remember, you realize, as you develop the awareness, you realize, oh my God, I've got out the now. Like that. It happens so fast. That's why, Eckhart Tolle talks about developing that awareness, so that you realize instantly, or not instantly, as quickly as you can. And it's really important, by the way, to not beat ourselves up for getting consumed in the past, or in our fears, or in our ego, or in our limitations, because I've done that. And of course, we are just compounding the dense energy, because not only are we feeling fear, we're compounding that fear with shame and judgment. So then what happens? The energy becomes more dense and more dense and more dense. You're projecting more of the past, and you're getting further away from the now. And the now is where that very light, expansive energy is. The now is the space of receiving. Why? Because you're completely, there's nothing blocking you. I remember I received this as a visual a few months ago, of like the universe pouring money to me, and I saw that I had all of these blocks in the way. And this is where it is really important and this is where the healing hamster wheel comes in. Okay, so it's really important to create that safe foundation of some parts of healing, some parts of emotional intelligence, some parts of somatic healing, so that you can then hold the fear. Because back in May, when I started my awakening journey, I seeked spirituality, like I was saying earlier, to bypass my emotions. I was just like, nope, I don't want to know. I don't want to be human anymore. Please, I don't want to be human anymore. And so I was like, I bypassed I suppressed, I avoided, I resisted all of my emotions. Anytime my ego came out, I was like, nope, pushed it away. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm not saying to push away or resist or oppress. What happens when you do that work, and there is a fine line, because it's very easy to get consumed by the healing, and get on the healing hamster wheel, which is not necessary. You will know for yourself when you're ready, so to speak. Like, I now know that I've done enough emotional alchemy, somatic healing, and that's not to say there won't be more, but my mentor, my crown is tingling right now, my mentor Daniela Arango said to me, she was like, people approach healing from the place of fixing. That's ego. So I invite you to approach your healing from compassion and love. That's light energy. That's the energy that you are. That's the energy of the present moment. If you come at it from fixing energy, well, what's that? That's ego. That's projecting the past. That's adding dense energy to dense energy to dense energy to dense energy. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, I feel really low, I feel really heavy, and you've blocked out all of the receiving that you get to have. So what I'm saying here, in short, is that it's really important to do the healing work first, with the intention of building that safe foundation. And it's not about fixing, it's about living. So like for me, for instance, as an example, when fear comes up, unlike back in May and the coming months after that, I don't need to suppress it anymore. I'm not afraid of fear anymore. It's like we have a fear of fear. We have a fear of feeling fear, so we push it away. And what we resist persists, as Abraham Hicks says, and whoever else says it. So create the safe foundation so that you can hold the fear. Because when you can hold the fear, and this is a bit of a paradox, you don't get sucked into the fear. It's like, it almost feels like you're like above the fear, like you're like the master of the fear, rather than, it's like Eckhart Tolle talks about being the observer, being the witness. You're not in it, you're not experiencing it, you're observing it and you're holding it, and it's like, and this is where emotional intelligence comes in. It's like, maybe you have children. It's like a child coming to you really upset about something that you did. Say they said like, I don't know, like, Mummy, I'm really upset that you didn't, cook my favorite dinner last night. Instead of going into their story, and this is, as an empath, it's very easy to do this. And that's why right now, empaths, light workers, the sensitive people of this world are the ones that are doing this work, because we are the leaders, we are the new earth leaders, because we are naturally intuitive. No, that's wrong. Everyone's naturally intuitive. Sorry, that's wrong. We are tapped into our intuition already. So as an empath, it is very easy to go into the emotion of and go into the story and attach to it and just be in it and be consumed by it. So rather than being consumed by the story of, oh my gosh, I'm a bad mum, my child hates me, whatever you're attaching to that, you observe it, you observe yourself, you observe the child, and in that observation, you have higher awareness, you have higher conscious awareness, and then you get to be in the now, because any story or entanglement or attachment that you're going into is a projection of the past, and it's ego. So when you're in the now and you're in the present moment, that's when you get to observe. Have you ever realized that, like, when your ego takes its stronghold and your fear does, and you get sucked into the attachments and entanglements and the stories, that it seems like time just disappears, and you're in this like dense, heavy void, and you're like, I don't know where I am, what the time is. That's because you're not in the present moment anymore. You've literally been like dragged from the present moment. And so, yeah, don't get caught up in, emotions are bad, ego is bad, being human is bad. It's not about that. It's about, you got to create the safe foundation first. That's why like so many light workers and spiritually attuned and in-tuned people are doing healing, because they know that that safe foundation is required. Otherwise, you're gonna, do your work from a place of ego, and that's just gonna create more ego, something that my mentor, I know Daniela Arango, I keep talking about her, but she keeps coming up. Something that she says is like, everything is multiplying in the now. What are you multiplying? What are you multiplying? Whatever you're focusing on is multiplying. Whatever you focus on grows and flows, you know, as I don't know who ever said that, paraphrased. So as said, I created the safe foundation. I did the healing to create that. And the healing came from love, not from ego. That is very, very important discernment. And that is sovereignty right there. And then last night, I realized because this is the thing, when we release stuff, when we purge stuff, and actually what I've realized is with healing, when you're so attuned to the now, when fear comes up, or an entanglement or a story, even the awareness is clearing, is activating, is purging, is releasing. Like the realizations I've had over these past few weeks, and it's especially over these past few days, in the awareness of them, I found that they've been cleared. How do I know? I start to feel really sweaty. I start to feel really sick. I start to feel really tingly. And I literally feel it leaving my body. I feel it detangling, untangling. The other day, I realized that money was a tight coil in my stomach, and I felt it undo itself. And it was like, you know, the body is such, as you know, emotions are stored in the body, right? Disease, dis-ease. So it's so cool. I love being connected to my body. I love it. I love it so much. And that's why I just really want to emphasize that ascension is not an out-of-body experience. It might sometimes feel like that. That's okay. That's okay too. It's the union. It's the integration. It's like, it's heaven on earth. It's not heaven in heaven. Heaven on earth. Spiritual being in a human body. It's not spiritual being just up here in the ethers. Like, you are human. You were created a human for a reason. And the body talks. I think there's a book called that, right? I haven't read it. But the body talks. You know? The body will tell you everything you need to know. I promise. I promise. Actually, I invite you today, whenever you have space, create the space. You know, intention is really important here. To really connect with your body and see what it has to say. Because your soul up there is great. Up there and in here and all around, by the way, it's everywhere. Is great. It's perfect. It's like doing my thing. Because it's in the now. It has no thoughts, it has no beliefs, it has no ego, it has no mind consciousness. It's like, it's up there, it's love and life. You don't need to worry about the soul. You do not need to worry about the soul. It's cool, it's chilling, it's perfect. What you need to focus on is the body. And when you, like I say, when you connect to the body, when you feel into the body, you will notice it communicates so much to you. And you're like, wow. Sometimes it'll be really interesting and exciting. It'll be like, ooh. Sometimes it'll be like, fuck, that feels heavy and really scary. Take a deep breath. And I saw somebody post about breath work, obviously amazing. I started Kundalini recently, and I love the fire breath. And obviously Wim Hof, and oh my gosh, there are so many amazing breathwork facilitators out there. Breathwork is so important. Yoga is so important. Moving your body is so important. Somatic healing is so important. And I think I'm talking about this so deeply. I've got all motor centers defined in human design. I'm a manifesting generator, so I have a lot of energy. I love to move my body. I love my body. I love it. I love it so much. I love to connect with it. I love it to tell me things. I love to work with it. I love to challenge it and it to challenge me, like I said, with the fasting and the cutting out sugar and caffeine and all of those things. And my body shows me everything I need to know. It shows me, because anything ancestral or parallel lives, I call them parallel lives rather than past lives, because there's no such thing as past, everything is stacked in the now, it tells me what happened. I connect to my body and it's like, oh yeah, this happened. And then it happened in this lifetime, and it happened in this lifetime, and it's happened even in this lifetime. And it's like, okay, let's clear it. Let's clear it. Anything you have in your body, any aches, pains, tightness, dense energy, it's stuff to be cleared. And the thing is, we want to ignore that and we just want to be up there. No. We were created human for a reason. So, have a drink. So, what's been happening over these past few days, and that actually really hit me last night, like every day it's like hitting me deeper and deeper and deeper, and I just cry. That's when you know that you've connected to deep inner knowing of the universe, of oneness, of the collective, of like, this is it. This is it. This is it. What came through is that all we have to do is focus on the now. We have made it, I feel like my heart expanding right now. Whew. We have made it so complex. We've approached healing from a fixing ego energy. We've approached ascension from a fixed ego energy. We stay stuck in the past by getting sucked into our ego and experiencing it again and again and again. Anything that you're experiencing over and over again in your life is because you're on a loop. You're on a loop of the past. You want to get off that loop, connect to the now. Because when you connect to the now, that's connecting to your body. That's asking your body, okay, communicate to me. Why do I keep repeating the same thing? For me, it was like, why do I keep repeating making money, losing money, making money, losing money, making money, losing money, making money, losing money? And why has that been my experience in this lifetime as a child as well? Because that's always been the case in all lifetimes. In all lifetimes. Because money, and I don't just want to say money is the surface level thing. But anyway, my mentor Daniela Arango said to me yesterday, she was like, Lizzie, she was like, I just know that you're here to be like rich, not just on the outside, but on the inside. I was like, yeah, I feel that too. And I was like, isn't that interesting that money has always been the thing that I've been working on? Of course it isn't. Money is the surface level. Beneath that was addiction to suffering. Beneath that was protection mechanisms, and so much stuff in parallel lives. You know, money makes you mean, and money made me mean. So many in past lifetimes, parallel lifetimes, past lifetimes, in this lifetime, and you get to in the now. You then get to, with that safe foundation, like the way I approach healing is like, I don't need to go into it, but like, I know it's there and I know it's happened. And then from a higher perspective, from a higher level of consciousness, I'm like, okay, now we let this go. And it happens just like that. And then it's like a domino effect of like, now that's released, there's a bit more space. Now something else comes forward to create even more space. Now that's released, now something else comes forward to create more space. And then you're just creating more so rather than viewing healing as like, oh, another thing, like when will this ever end? View it as things are just coming forward to be cleared, to be released, to be alchemized, so that you can create space to be filled with life force energy, with soul, with the now, with love, with pure divine love that is all you are, beneath all of the conditioning and beyond the ego. view it like that. It's a beautiful, you know, the body is a beautiful messenger. The ego is a beautiful messenger. But you don't have to be in it to clear it. You get to like feel it, yes. It's like a simultaneous thing. It's like you're feeling it, yes, on one level. Then on the other level, you're like observing it and you're like above it. You're like the master operator of it. So, yeah, I started this live, super emotional. Sarah came on. We had a little cry. Well, I was crying. I assume she was crying as well. I felt her crying too. And I was sharing that, like, my wish for this world and everyone on it is that we focus on the now. We focus on the now. And every time we get away from the now, we bring ourselves back to the now. Because that is where ego can't live. That is where thoughts and beliefs can't live. That is where the infinitely deep inner knowing lives. It's where oneness lives. It's where the I am field of potentiality lives. Sure, does like once in a blue moon or even all the time to begin with? I call it the rubber band phase. That's what Michaela calls it as well. Michaela Adelsberger. Sure, the ego might come in and be like, remember, like I was giving that example earlier of like, I am so abundant, because you're in that I am filled potentiality. Like you feel, it's not just like I am abundant, you know, it's not a mind ego led affirmation. It's an energetic feeling. It's a remembrance. It's a knowing. It's a return home of like, this is a deep inner knowing, and I know it and I feel it, and it is the ultimate truth, and anything else is a relative truth. A relative truth, aka lie, aka illusion, aka conditioning, aka bullshit that we've been fed by media, the Matrix, all of these things. So, you know, people think that like ascension has to be this really complex thing, and just be really discerning with what you're consuming, who you're listening to, of ego projection. And don't judge, because remember, judgment and shame is just going to compound that dense energy. But bless them, send them love and compassion, and just, and not obviously in a patronizing way, but create a cocoon of love. Maybe you're both in that together, you know? Love heals all, it really does. I know that's such a cliche, but it really is true. And so, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I was saying, yeah, be discerning. And yeah, as said, I realized that energy raising again. Remember to stay grounded, drink lots of water, ground your feet, imagine roots growing, imagine your chakras opening, imagine your chakras aligning like a beautiful peacock feather. Just really remember that. Yeah, I really just want everyone to live in the now and to connect to that nowness of oneness, of the I am filled with potentiality, and realize that everything is already here. Everything is already here. Even when we look at like Mother Earth, you know, there's fruit on the trees to eat, there's water in the rivers to drink, there's wood for shelter. Why do we have the 4 elements? So that we can live on this earth. You know, it's like, you look at other planets, some of them are too hot, some of them are too cold, you know. Earth was created so that we could live on it. And that's where you get to also, as well as, you know, the higher realms, spirit guides, spirit team, ascended masters, aliens, also connect to Mother Earth, nature, grounding, rooted, trees, you know, become at one with nature, become at one with the trees. There's no such thing as separation. Animals. And yeah, you feel the oneness, and you feel that anytime you're coming from fixing energies, just remember, it's a case of remembering. Blah, blah, blah. You're just remembering over and over again. That's all it is. And that's okay. don't beat yourself up. Don't compound with shame and judgment anytime you get sucked into ego or fear. Just take the lesson from it. Take the learning from it. Ascension is not about being perfect, getting everything right, always being in the now, never having fear. When I say, because I received the guidance of a book the other day, Living Life Without Fear, I don't mean, I feel like I'm going to have to put a disclaimer under it, like, I don't mean that fear doesn't exist anymore. I mean that you're not living your life, maybe I'll change the title, who knows, but you're not living your life in the fear. The fear is still there, but you're not living your life in it or with it. You're living your life from soul. And the fear comes up every now and again, or even all the time. Sometimes, like, especially like I said in the rubber band phase, the ego is really intense because it's trying to hold on, because it's there to protect you. It's not a bad thing. Let's not make the ego or emotions bad. It's there to protect us, and it does its job very well, like I was saying earlier. So approach healing from compassion and love to create that safe foundation. Be mindful where you're approaching anything from ego, from fixing, even working with clients, even the way you speak to, your partner. There's a lot of fixing energy in relationships right now. I'm feeling in the collective. There's a lot of, you're not enough of this. Well, however you feel about your partner, your parents, your siblings, your children, who are your clients, is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So rather than projecting onto them and coming from ego protection of trying to fix, go inwards. And guess what? The now makes that inwards journey so much easier. So much easier. So come back to the now. Remember that there is nothing to fix. You are perfect. You are whole. It's just a case of working with the human, working with the ego. We were created this way for a reason. I think we were created as humans with an ego to protect us from being eaten, or, now in modern times being run over by a car. But but we've taken it too far. That's what I feel. We've allowed the ego to consume too much of us and overpower so much of us as society, as collective, as the world. So it's really about realizing, having the awareness, like Eckhart Tolle talks about, of, okay, where do I need ego? Where do I not need ego? And yeah, I think that is all. That was my share for today. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to look at the chat comments in a second. I just want to close this. Anyone has any questions, wants to work with me on this kind of thing, I feel like a program was being birthed through me overnight. I felt it as I fell asleep, and I woke up and I was like, And that's the other thing. When you're in the now, and like I said, you do the work to release anything that's no longer serving you, you create the space for that life force energy to come through. That means that you create from soul, you create from that life force energy, rather than, I will admit, I created from ego before, from attachment to money, from, wanting to be liked, people pleasing, high achiever identity, attachments, all of those things. But when you release, you create space, and then you can be guided by soul, be guided by life force energy. And your creations are like, holy shit, this makes me cry so much because I feel it so deeply in my soul, because it's so deeply an expansion of my soul. The mind is no longer involved in creation. It's a soul-led thing. Soul-led creation rather than mind-led creation, heart-led creation. So you're perfect, you are whole, You are the I am field of potentiality. You are oneness. Om. You can even practice that. Saying Om. It's like giving, receiving, giving, receiving, giving, receiving. Om. You get to practice that. You get to practice being in the now, connection to all things. So much fun. Life is when you awaken, life is a playground, because you're no longer projecting from the past. You're no longer trying to fix anything, fix anyone, fix anything. That's the other thing with spirituality. Some people are coming from the angle of fixing. Sacred geometry of hero, victim, perpetrator. Develop your awareness of when you're in one of those, hero, victim, perpetrator. So many people in the spiritual world are trying to be the hero. But at the same time as being the hero, you're being the victim. At the same time, you're being the perpetrator. If you're in that sacred geometry, you're in that sacred geometry. You got to get out of it. You got to break it. If you want to learn how to do that, I can help you to do that. But yeah, if you're doing this work to save the world, heal the people, fix the world, that's the hero, and therefore the victim, and therefore the perpetrator. So yeah, really, really important to develop that. This is where we need the conscious mind, right? To develop that conscious awareness. So we've created our conscious mind has created all of this crap that we don't like. We don't want it anymore. The solution is not to bypass it and ignore it and resist it and just go up there, up in the sky. It's to clear all the crap you don't like. And then you have the safe foundation to play in the higher realms. But also play down here as well. Because you realize that you get to have as much fun here on this earth as you do in the higher realms. And it's not like, I remember I was on one of Andrea Grunn's Q&A calls. I was watching the replay and somebody asked I feel like I'm living two realities. I feel like I'm on this earth and then I'm up in the ethers, and then I'm on this earth and then I'm up in the 5D, and then I'm on this earth and then I'm up in the 12D. And she was like, Andrea said, everything is stacked in the now. All timelines, are stacked in the now. So, I felt burp coming. There we go. all timelines are stacked in the now. So you're on this earth, and you're in 3D, and you're in 5D, and you're in 12D, and you're in 500D. You're in the heavens. You're everywhere all at once, because you're multidimensional. Because everything is in the now. So you're everywhere in the now. So if you're feeling like you're jumping between, just bring yourself back to that awareness of you are everywhere in the now, rather than, jumping around. Because if you're jumping around, that means that you're viewing things as separate, and that means that you're in the ego, you're in the matrix. So just be really aware, and yeah, don't avoid the healing, don't avoid your emotions, don't avoid your body, work with all of it. It is all there to help you, I promise. It's just about picking and choosing, being the master operator, being like above it, looking down, not squashing it, but looking down and actually doing something about it, rather than being in it. And the only way you can be above it is when you're in the now. And you'll realize that when you stop approaching your healing and everything from fixing energy, everything will feel lighter. Everything will feel so much lighter, so much more expansive, so much more beautiful, vibrant, radiant, easier, more effortless. And you'll just feel like, this feels nice. And you'll feel like that more and more and more and more. Everything is just a remembrance. Step home. Taking the steps home. Sometimes you're like, meh, you go off track. That's okay. Like I said, don't compound that with judgment or shame. Just come back onto the path. Anyway, now I'm going to read the comments. Yes, Natasha, I feel like the physical body is the one that will give you the biggest ascension, purifying your channel. Yes, because you're a human with a body. And for instance, like I said, with creation, it's about clearing space for that life force energy to flow through you. If you're suppressing any denseness in the body, any disease or condition or whatever, or tense muscles or pain or discomfort, or you're suppressing, I was about to say or, obviously that means you're suppressing your emotions. Obviously that happens because you've suppressed your emotions. So that's where the body is so amazing, because you speak to the body and you're like, okay, body, feel this. For me, it was like, I feel this tightness in my stomach. Where is this coming from? Okay. So you're telling me that it's from thousands of years of money trauma. Okay, let's go deeper. And like I said, I wasn't in the story. I was observing what was happening. And then I released it. And the releasing gets to be really easy. Like sometimes that can even happen in the awareness, like I was saying. Being on the edge so deeply, Sarah said. Natasha said, I've not drank coffee for a month now and I've cut out sugar, gluten, etc. Check out the medical medium cleanses. Oh, medical medium cleanses. Natasha, can you message me about that? If you've already gone, I can read about that. Oh, I miss Susanna. Natasha said aliens are everywhere right now. Yeah. If you're in the now, then you're connected to all things, all life, all dimensions. So you will experience that. Sarah, Christ is in our hearts and he's working through us all the time when we decide healing. Exactly. We are Christ. Energetic boundaries is key. Karina, how do you think we should be in the present moment? Is it the same as what you said before about observing the mind? That's an interesting question. It's a bit of a paradox because you are in the present moment. What helped me was like to consciously understand that the present moment is all we have. So that helped me to realize when I'm in fear, I'm out of the present moment. It's like developing the awareness of like, okay, when you feel light and expansive and connected to all things, you are in the present moment. When you feel fearful and you're overthinking and you're worrying and you're doubting, you're in the past. So you bring yourself back to the present. Great question. Sarah said, it's literally happening naturally, cleansing and clearing automatically through the body. Yeah, the guidance for me to start detoxing, to start fasting, to start cutting down on so many different foods, to start, introducing new things into my diet, that wasn't a like, I'm on this health kick. I was just like, it came through because when you commit to this journey, you fully commit to it and you're in the now of it, so much guidance comes through. And if you're in the now, you receive that guidance so clearly, so fully, so abundantly, and you follow it, and then more guidance comes through and more guidance comes through and more guidance comes through. That's why it's so important to not just be in the now, but actually follow the guidance that's coming through in the now. Like me with the chlorophyll water, or even me deciding to go live right now. Did I expect 11 people to come on? No, in fact, I'll be honest, my ego and my mind was like, oh, Lizzie, it's like 8:15. Oh my God, I've been on here for an hour and a half. It's 8:15 in the morning. So many of your people are in America. They won't be on. Go live later. And I was like, no, I don't want to wait, because I had so much energy flowing through me as a result of the realizations and the shifts last night and over these past few days and over these past few months. And I was like, no, I've got to share this with people. Like, I've got to share this with people right here, right now. So it's also trusting that. And the now we feel, which is our superpower. Yeah, exactly. You know, the aliens have superpowers of their own. Humans have superpowers of their own. Sarah, I love you, little sister. I'm so happy you're on this journey's cover. I love it. Sarah, I'm sending them to the light. Yeah. Speak to them and ask them what happened to them and telling them it's time to go home to the light. Well, actually, talking about aliens, they are bringing the light to you. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing that to think when you're experiencing aliens, spirits, your spirit teams, past and relatives, ascended masters, that you've invited in that light. And whatever is your energy field is what you'll attract. So if your energy field is made up of lightness, you'll only attract light. But if there's darkness in your energy field, you're going to attract darkness. That's why I never attract anything dark, because my energy field repels darkness because it's so light. So that's something as well. Speaking Jesus' name is the most powerful. Yes. Or just feeling him. Jesus is the most ascended. The blood of Jesus over you when you're in fear immediately brings you to peace. Yeah. I mean, I just imagine his light, or its light. He's not even a he. We are in authority over them, so we get to send them with direction. Yeah. Karina, what's your process of being present in the now? It's as simple as I realized from answering your other question, is realizing when you're out of the now. And you're out of the now when you're fearing, when you're in fear, when you feel dense, fearful, worried, judgmental, disappointed, frustrated, you're not in the now. When you feel light, expansive, excited, happy for no reason, you feel unconditional love, you're in the now. So it's about becoming aware of when you're not in the now and then bringing yourself into the now. Sarah, breathwork does connect to me instantly. It's so beautiful. Yes, it's usually some form of judgment that takes me out of that. Exactly. And when we're judging ourselves, we're putting judgment into that collective. And when we're judging others, we are also judging ourselves. So it's really important to be mindful of that as well. It's like, however you feel about yourself, you're projecting out there, and however you feel about others is a reflection of yourself. You know, all is one. Isabel, you work for Source, my love, and are eternally asked to receive. Yeah. Or with Source, I would say. Work with Source. Not even, I am Source. We are Source. So, love it. Sarah, you just do as it comes up, aka feeling emotions, not required to do the digging ahead of time. Exactly. And the feeling can be really hard. For me, I always viewed my emotions as negative. I suppressed my emotions for my entire life because of what happened in parallel lifetimes and because of what's happened in this lifetime with what people have said to me about emotions and how they made me feel when I was emotional. Made me feel unsafe, they made me feel unheld, they made me feel unsupported, they made me feel unloved. So I had to release all of that to even feel like I could feel my emotions in the first place. You know, people are like, just feel it. And I'm like, that feels fucking scary to just feel it, you know? So it's like, that is really, really important to build that, like I was saying, build that foundation so that you can even feel your emotions. And then you get to feel them. And like I said, it's a kind of dual intention. It's like you're feeling them. Remember I said you're all things at all time in the now. So it's like you're feeling them and you're also observing them simultaneously. It's not one or the other. Sarah, I like to say you don't need to heal your inner child because she was never broken. Nope, you don't need to heal your inner child, but you need to create a safe foundation for her to feel held and supported. At least for me, my inner child felt so unheld, so unsupported. And because that's how she felt growing up, that's how I felt growing up. And then guess what? I abandoned her. I reinforced that abandonment. So healing maybe is the wrong word, but I had to reconnect with my inner child, have conversations with her. We would write letters to each other. We would journal to each other. And now I hold so much divine space, loving, compassionate, expansive space for all of me, for my soul, for my human, for my inner child, for my ego. I hold loving space for all of it. Sarah, we just need to invite her back into our body and hold her up to create. Yeah, she just needs to, a lot of the time our inner child just needs to be held. Just needs to be held, just needs to feel safe. And obviously if you don't feel safe, then you're not going to be able to experience the now. You can only experience the now if you feel safe in the now. If you have that inner safety. That's why that inner safety is so important, and not to like bypass anything that needs to be healed or released, or even collapsed. Doing that so much, OMG, it's always creating havoc and escalating energy madness. Now I practice observing energy, not responding to it with my kids, and it's freeing. Yes. Oh, aren't our relationships the most amazing mirror? Whenever I see people judge or shame or project about their partners or their parents, I just bless them and send them love and just invite them to look within. Because recently I've seen so much, especially around romantic relationships, and oh my goodness, every time my partner is 100% my twin flame, and every time he triggers me. So recently what's been coming up a lot, which is so interesting, is like not feeling loved by him. And that was really triggering. And then I looked within and I was like, holy shit, it's because I don't feel loved by myself. And yesterday I had a conversation with Kristen Stewart. I was thinking of the Twilight actress when I say that. And who's an amazing ascension mentor. And she said to me, she was like, Lizzie, this point in your journey is about falling back in love with yourself. And even saying that out loud now, I'm just like filled with love and tears and joy and gratitude and appreciation. And I was like, yeah. So pay attention to what is triggering you on the external situations. Money and love have the same frequency. So how you feel about one is how you feel about the other, is what you're creating. So in the same way as I didn't love myself, of course I didn't feel loved by my partner, I didn't feel loved by my parents, and then I wasn't receiving money, because money and love have the same frequency. So interesting to, like I say, be the observer of your life and just look around. And I love it every time my partner triggers me or something outside of me triggers me, because I'm like, ooh, what an amazing invitation to build that in myself, so that I don't need that. I don't need that from him, or I don't need that from my parents, or I don't need that from money. I don't need that from my clients. But I get to have it as a bonus, as an expansion, as an overflow. You can't have overflow if your cup is empty. You got to fill the, ooh, I like that. You kind of overflow. Ooh, I like that. Kind of overflow if your cup is empty. You've got to fill the cup first, and then the cup gets to overflow. Sarah, it is that simple. Awareness sometimes is enough to shift. Yes, especially with the body, because it's like you realize there's something in the body, and then you get to just shift it in that moment. But remember, you can only do that if you're in the now, and you can only be in the now if you create safety. So there's like a few steps, but it doesn't have to take long. Sarah, we are so aligned in what we are experiencing right now. It's so cool. Of course we are. The collective is shifting. Sarah, my body is telling me to sleep now. Say night night. I love you. So happy to connect with you on here. Oh, I love you, Sarah. Have a beautiful sleep. Ilza said, how to be in the now when you're preparing a project in the future and are worried if you'll be able to be in the moment for it to work out beautifully. Like the moment of giving a talk that will be filmed and you want it to turn out beautifully. How to let go of the control and the attachment. Ooh. Okay. That yawn just shifted the energy. take a deep breath and have some water. Okay, how to be in the now when you are preparing a project in the future and are worried if you'll be able to be in the moment for it to work. Okay, what I'm picking up on here, Ilsa, is lack of trust in yourself. Like you don't trust yourself to be in the now. And like I said, being in the now takes practice. And you build safety. I don't even want to say over time, but like the more you're in the now, the more safe you're going to feel in the now. So obviously, yeah, what you're saying is like, I'm picking up on perfectionism here. Moment of giving a talk that we filmed and you want it to turn out beautifully. Yes. So, I mean, first of all, that is incredible that you have such a high standard for yourself and your work. So, love for that. So what I'm being guided to say is like, expand that love. Expand those standards in a loving way of deeply trusting that because at your core you have such high standards for yourself and your work that it is going to be amazing. There is no doubt. It is going to be amazing. Because the control and the attachment and the worry, the fear, is just lack of trust. It's lack of trust. It's like, I have these high standards, but am I going to meet those standards? Well, if those high standards are who you are, how can you not be who you are? One of my mentors said something like this. How can you not be who you are? So I think the work for you, for anyone watching, and for me, for all of us, for me, for you, for us, is to deeply connect with who you are. I was just talking about loving yourself, and loving yourself is not about having a bubble bath. Loving yourself is like this deep connection and appreciation of what makes you who you are. Like, having high standards is not a bad thing. You know, people make being picky or perfectionist a bad thing. If it's coming from a place of ego and fixing, maybe it's bad. But if you're coming from a place of love and you want like this deeply refined life from a place of love, hold yourself to that standard, as I feel you're doing. Connect to the now moment and connect to the deep inner trust that if that is who I am, how can I not be that? How can it not go that way? The only way you can create from who you are not is when you are not connected to yourself, is when you are not connected to the now. This is so juicy. Oh my God, I'm loving this for all of us. Feeling this for me as well, of course. You know, it's like I was saying earlier, when we create from ego, we're creating from past projections, creating within limitations. Allow yourself to deeply connect with who you are and create from that freaking beautiful, deeply connected life force energy, and trust that that is enough. We've all got big things to birth in this world. Ilsa, you are birthing something huge in this project. When you're in the now, you can't be in thoughts, you can't be in beliefs, you can't be in fear, you can only be in the now. So what's coming through for you is like being in the now looks like, I created this opportunity to create this amazing project. I created that. How magnificent. I created that. That means I'm a vibrational match for this project. That means this project is meant for me. That means as long as I am deeply connected to this project, and therefore to myself, because it's like yourself is at the bottom and then the project is like just above, this couldn't possibly go wrong. How can anything go wrong when you're deeply connected to yourself? The only way things can go wrong is when you're connected to ego, when you're living in the past, when you're projecting from fears and worries and doubts. So I'm good to be in the present and know that things work out. I just share with love when I'm not filmed. But this fear has come out now and believing that I need to be perfect to succeed. Okay, so what you're saying, so you've developed a deep connection with the now, which is amazing. Take the now wherever you go. Be in the now wherever you go. When you're cooking, I don't know if you have kids, when you're with your family, when you're out on a walk, when your family stressing you out, when you're stressing yourself out, when you're in fear, come back to the now. Because it's okay to be on the way to that filming. I'm seeing you in a car, but it might not be that you're traveling there. But anyway, and it's like, don't suppress the fear, because it's there for a reason. It's there to protect you, and it's okay to be fearful. But it's like, as soon as they count down to the start of that filming, and they're like, 3, 2, 1, action. And they say action, now. You're in the now. I promise you all, the now is all that we need. Why? Because the now is all that we have. Everything else is just an illusion. So believing that I need to be perfect to succeed. Oh, something really cool just came through about perfection. Perfection is relative. But let's see perfection as you, who you truly are. That's perfection, right? To me, perfection is who I really am at my core. That is perfection, right? Anything else is like a bit wonky, bit wobbly. So you saying I want to be perfect, again, amazing to have such high standards. And guess what? Having those high standards is going to serve you so well in this life and other lives, because it means that you're always gonna be connected to yourself and be connected to the now. So you connect to the now, and you therefore connect to yourself. Felt the need to hold like my womb space then, my sacral. And when you are connected to the now, and therefore connected to yourself, you are literal perfection. Literal perfection. because you are whole, because you are complete. I am perfect, I am whole, I am complete, I am oneness. And so there's no need to be something that you already are. All you need to do is connect to the present moment and therefore connect to yourself. And then you're in that perfect place. You're in that bubble. Feels like a bubble, like a cocoon, a perfection. When a baby's born into the world, don't people describe them as perfect? As precious little cherubs? Oh no, that one's not perfect because it's got blue eyes rather than green. Oh no, that one's not perfect because it's blonde rather than brunette. Oh, that one's not perfect because its toes are chubby. No. Babies are perfect because they are whole. Same with maybe you have pets, you have animals. We see our pets as perfect, even children, older children. You know, we see our children, we see our pets as perfect because we see them as whole. And whole doesn't mean having certain things and not having the other. Whole means whole. The whole thing means a whole thing. It means everything. It's like everything wrapped up in one beautiful gift wrapped in a bow. You know, we don't think, oh, that baby hasn't got enough hair, or oh, my child is not like this, or I don't know, the ego might sometimes be like, oh, why is my child being annoying today? You know. Hi Joe, you just joined and we're ending. But that's perfect, you can watch the replay. This idea that you aren't already perfect shows me that you are disconnected to yourself. This idea that you need to prove and show people something shows me that you're disconnected to yourself. Because when you are connected to yourself, there's nothing more to be, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to prove, because you know that you are whole and you are perfection. So I'll leave that with you. Connect back to yourself, connect to the present moment. Okay, beautiful people, I'm going to leave that there. Anyone watching the replay, come say hello. I'm going to repurpose this onto YouTube and podcast episode. And this has been so much fun. It has been almost 2 hours. Gotta say I didn't expect that. But I followed the guidance. My soul woke up and was like, share what you've been experiencing. Share what you feel right now in this moment. And I was in the now. So I trusted it and I went for it. And we have all just fell in deeper love with ourselves, reached high levels of consciousness, remembered, taken steps home. So beautiful. Just gonna have a drink, and I would like to offer, if anyone is interested in taking this deeper, message me and I can create something bespoke exactly for you and where you're at right now. Just putting it out there. Deep breaths. Practice being in the now. Keep coming back to the now. Keep coming back to that loving kindness, that loving acceptance, that loving compassion. Deepen your connection to self, true self, not ego self. Practice the Om sound. Listen to your body. And have a beautiful day. And go and drink lots of water and ground yourself in nature. Go for a walk, do grounding meditation, get some fresh air. Love to you all. Have a beautiful day / evening if you're in Australia.